Pinocchio. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village near the woods, there lived an old woodcarver named Geppetto. Geppetto was a kind man with gentle eyes and a big heart. He lived alone in a small house, and sometimes he felt lonely. More than anything in the world, Geppetto wished for a child. He wanted someone to love, to care for, and to share his life with. One sunny morning, Geppetto went into the forest to find some wood. He wanted to carve something special. After searching for a while, he found a beautiful piece of pine. It was smooth and strong, and when Geppetto touched it, he felt something magical. He smiled and carried the wood back to his little workshop. "I will make a puppet," he said happily, "a puppet that can dance and laugh, and maybe it will feel like the sun I always wished for." Geppetto worked all day and all night. With his sharp tools, he cut, shaped, and polished the wood. Slowly, the puppet began to look like a real boy. He gave him a round head, kind eyes, a nose, and a smile. He made arms, legs, and a body. Finally, Geppetto put the puppet together, and there he was, a wooden boy sitting on the table. Geppetto looked at him with love. "You are perfect," he whispered. "I will call you Pinocchio." That night, Geppetto went to bed with a happy heart. He placed Pinocchio near the window and looked at the stars. Oh, if only he were a real boy, Geppetto wished. Then he closed his eyes and fell asleep. In the sky above, the blue fairy heard Geppetto's wish. She was touched by his kindness and love. She came down into the little house and waved her magic wand over the puppet. Suddenly, Pinocchio blinked his eyes. He moved his arms and legs. He looked around with wonder. He was alive. "Pinocchio," said the blue fairy softly, "I have given you life. If you are brave, truthful, and kind, one day you will become a real boy." Pinocchio jumped up excitedly. "A real boy? Oh, thank you, fairy. I will try my best." The blue fairy smiled and called Jiminy Cricket, a small green cricket with a wise face. "Jiminy," she said, "you will be Pinocchio's guide. Teach him right from wrong. Help him make good choices." Jiminy Cricket bowed. "I will do my best." The next morning, Geppetto woke up. When he saw Pinocchio moving and talking, he could not believe his eyes. "Father, Father, look, I can walk and talk," cried Pinocchio. Geppetto's heart was full of joy. "My wish has come true," he said, hugging the little wooden boy. "I have a son." From that day, Geppetto cared for Pinocchio as if he were his own child. He gave him food, clothes, and love. He even sold his coat to buy Pinocchio a school book. "You must go to school, Pinocchio," Geppetto said. "Education is very important. Be a good boy, study well, and make me proud." Pinocchio promised. "Yes, Father, I will." But Pinocchio was young and curious. He wanted to see the world, to play, and to have fun. And sometimes he forgot the wise words of Jiminy Cricket. On his very first day going to school, Pinocchio walked through the village with his book in hand. On the way, he heard music and laughter. There was a puppet show in a big tent. Colorful posters said, "Great Puppet Theater. Amazing fun." Pinocchio stopped. His eyes sparkled. "Puppets like me. I want to see this show." Jiminy Cricket jumped onto his shoulder. "Now wait, Pinocchio. School first, fun later. Remember the fairy's words. Be brave, truthful, and kind." But Pinocchio shook his head. "Just one show. Then I'll go to school." He ran into the tent. Inside, the stage was full of dancing puppets. Pinocchio laughed and clapped. Suddenly, the puppets on stage stopped and pointed at him. "Look, a puppet without strings." The audience gasped. The puppet master, Stromboli, came forward. He was a large man with a long beard and greedy eyes. "What a wonder," he said. "A puppet that moves by himself. You will make me rich." He pulled Pinocchio onto the stage. "Dance, little puppet," he ordered. Pinocchio danced, and the crowd cheered. They threw coins onto the stage. Stromboli smiled with greed. After the show, Pinocchio said, "Thank you, sir, but now I must go home to father." Stromboli laughed. "Go home? Oh no, little puppet. You belong to me now." He locked Pinocchio in a cage. Pinocchio cried, "I want to go home. Father will be worried." That night, the blue fairy appeared. "Why didn't you go to school, Pinocchio?" she asked gently. Pinocchio was afraid to tell the truth. "I did go to school, fairy. Then I met two big monsters, and they forced me to come here." Suddenly, his nose began to grow longer and longer. Pinocchio touched it in shock. "Your nose grows when you tell lies," the fairy said. "Remember, a lie never helps you." Pinocchio lowered his head. "I'm sorry. I will tell the truth. I wanted to see the puppet show, so I came here. Stromboli locked me up." The fairy smiled kindly and touched his nose. It became short again. "Good, Pinocchio. Always tell the truth." With a wave of her wand, she opened the cage. "Thank you, fairy. I promise I will be good," Pinocchio said. He ran out with Jiminy Cricket, but his troubles were not over. On the road home, Pinocchio met two strange animals, a sly fox and a lazy cat. "Where are you going, little puppet?" asked the fox. "I am going home to my father," Pinocchio said. The cat smiled. "But why hurry? We know a place where boys play all day. No school, no books, just fun and sweets. It's called Pleasure Island." Pinocchio's eyes widened. "Really? That sounds wonderful." Jiminy Cricket shouted, "No, Pinocchio, don't listen to them." But Pinocchio ignored him. He followed the fox and the cat. Soon, they came to a coach filled with laughing boys. The coachman called, "All aboard to Pleasure Island." Pinocchio climbed in. The island was full of toys, candy, and games. Boys shouted, laughed, and broke things. "This is the best place ever." Pinocchio cheered. But after some time, strange things began to happen. The boys' ears grew long, and their noses turned into snouts. One by one, they became donkeys. They brayed and kicked in fear. Pinocchio felt his ears grow. He touched them and screamed, "No, I don't want to be a donkey." Jiminy Cricket pulled his hand. "Quick, Pinocchio, we must escape." They ran as fast as they could and jumped into the sea. Pinocchio's donkey ears slowly disappeared. He was safe, but tired and scared. At last, he remembered his father. Oh no, poor father must be worried. I must go home. When they reached the village, the house was empty. A kind neighbor said, "Geppetto went to sea to search for you. He sailed away and has not returned." Pinocchio's heart broke. "I must find him. He needs me." He built a little raft and sailed into the ocean with Jiminy Cricket. The waves were high and the wind was strong. Suddenly, a giant whale rose from the deep and swallowed them whole. Inside the whale's dark belly, Pinocchio heard a voice. "Pinocchio, is that you?" "Father!" Pinocchio cried. There was Geppetto, sitting with a small lantern. They hugged tightly. "I thought I lost you," Geppetto said with tears. "I am sorry, Father," Pinocchio said. "I made many mistakes, but I will be brave and good now." Pinocchio had an idea. "We must escape. Let's make a fire. The smoke will make the whale sneeze." They built a fire, and soon the whale gave a huge sneeze. Achoo! Out they flew back into the sea and swam safely to the shore. On the beach, Geppetto lay weak and tired. "Father, don't leave me," Pinocchio cried. The blue fairy appeared once again. She looked at Pinocchio with love. "You have learned to be brave, truthful, and kind. You risked your life to save your father. Now you deserve your reward." She touched him with her wand. Pinocchio's wooden body turned into flesh and blood. His nose, arms, and legs were real. He had become a real boy. "Father, look at me. I am real." Pinocchio shouted with joy. Geppetto opened his eyes and smiled. "My son, my real son." From that day on, Pinocchio lived happily with Geppetto. He went to school, worked hard, and always listened to his conscience. Jiminy Cricket stayed by his side, proud of the little boy who had learned the value of truth, bravery, and kindness. And so Pinocchio's wish and Geppetto's dream came true. The end.